To detect the presence of extra element in the given organic compound, we have to prepare the Lessinger's extract. And to prepare the Lessinger's extract, we have to first take the china dish. Now whatever apparatus we are using in this experiment, we have to rinse it with distilled water. As we know that the tap water is contaminated with chlorine. So even though our compound doesn't contain chlorine, we get the positive test for that. So please make a note that whatever apparatus you are using, rinse it thoroughly with the distilled water. And now the china dish is ready. Now you add roughly 10 ml of distilled water into the china dish and keep it aside. Now we have to fuse the organic compound with the sodium metal. Now since you are using the sodium metal for the first time, so you have to take some precautions into your account. The first precaution is never take the sodium metal with your fingers, with your hand. Wherever you are taking the sodium metal, use either the forceps or the metallic spatula. The second precaution is that never throw the sodium metal directly into the sink. As we know that the sodium metal reacts with water exothermically, and therefore as soon as we throw the sodium metal into the sink, it will catch fire. So to avoid that, we have to take this precaution that sodium metal should not be touched or come in contact with either the skin or the moisture. Now we will take the ignition tube. This is the ignition tube, and here we have to put a piece of sodium metal. So we'll take the sodium metal, a small piece, and we will dry it with the help of the filter paper. And after this, we will add this sodium metal piece into the ignition tube. And we force this sodium metal into the ignition tube with the help of the capillary tube. Now we will heat it. Now when we'll heat it, we have to heat it to the extent that the sodium metal converts into the shining globule. Now you can see the sodium metal is converted into the shining globule, and now we will add this compound into it. Compound can be solid or it can be liquid. If our organic compound is solid, we have to add a pinch of the organic compound into the ignition tube with the help of the spatula, and if it is the liquid, then we have to add 2-3 drops of the organic compound with the help of the dropper into the ignition tube, and we will heat it. Now when heat the ignition tube, we have to take this precaution into account that the mouth of the ignition tube should be away from us, and now we will heat it. Now you see that the fumes are coming out, so we will heat the compound till no more fumes comes out. So we have to heat it gently. That means the reaction between the sodium metal and the compound is taking place. Yeah. Now you can see no more fumes are coming out. That means now the reaction is over. And now we have to heat this ignition tube strongly. So we will keep it vertically in the flame and let it get converted into red hot. So now it is converted into red hot. We will plunge it into the china dish and cover it immediately with the wire gauze. We have to repeat the same procedure with 3 more ignition tubes. That means every time we have to take the new ignition tube, add the sodium metal into it, heat it to turn into the shine globule, and then add the compound and heat it strongly till it converts into red, the tube converts into red hot, and then we'll plunge it into the china dish. You see that we are crushing the test tube, the ignition tube, with the help of the glass roll. Now we have to boil the contents of the china dish onto we will keep it on the tripod stand and boil the contents for 5 minutes to reduce the volume to half. Now extract is ready. Now we have to filter the extract. Now before filtering the extract, we have to prepare a setup in which we have to take the filter paper and we have to do the fold like this, once like this and then we will cut the filter paper of the funnel size and keep it on the funnel by keeping the one fold on one side and the 3 folds on the another side. Now we will keep it on the funnel like this and then stick it to the funnel by washing it with distilled water. So now by washing, the filter paper gets attached to the funnel. Okay. Yes. Now we will filter the extract. Now this filtrate is called Lessinger's extract or sodium filtrate, and whatever we have to do, whatever test, we will perform the test with this sodium extract. Now we will first do the test for nitrogen. We will take the extract and then we will add the extract into the test tube, and then we will add the freshly prepared ferrous sulfate solution into it. Now as we add freshly prepared ferrous sulfate solution, the dirty green precipitate will be obtained, and then we will heat the this test tube in the bun. We have to heat it for roughly 1 minute and the heating should be gentle. Yes. And now after this we will add 2-3 drops of dilute sulfuric acid into it. Now you can see the color change. This is the Persian blue color which indicates the presence of nitrogen. Now this is the test for nitrogen. Take the extract again to test for sulfur. And in this we add sodium nitroprusside solution, which is again freshly prepared. You can see the violet color is obtained. It indicates the presence of sulfur. Okay. Now the next test is the presence of nitrogen and sulfur together. For this, we will take the extract again, 1 ml. And then we will acidify the extract with dilute HCl. And after this, we will add the ferric chloride solution into it. Now this is blood red color, which indicates the presence of nitrogen and sulfur together. Okay. Okay. Now the test for halogens. Halogens can be tested by 2 tests. One is the silver nitrate test and second is the layer test. Now to perform the silver nitrate test, we have to see whether our organic compound contains nitrogen and or sulfur. That means if nitrogen and sulfur are present, either of them, then we have to perform the silver nitrate test differently, and if nitrogen and sulfur both are absent, then we have to perform the test differently. Now when the nitrogen and sulfur both are absent, then we will take the extract and acidify this with the dilute nitric acid. And now we add silver nitrate solution into this. So precipitate is obtained. Now in this test we can have 4 observations. Number 1, no precipitate is obtained, which indicates halogen is absent. Or we can get a white precipitate as we are getting here. Now we have to check the solubility of the precipitate obtained. if this white color precipitate is soluble in liquid ammonia, now adding the liquid ammonia into it, now you can see that it becomes soluble. So when the precipitate becomes soluble in, it is highly soluble in liquid ammonia, that means chlorine is present. Now the third observation is that if you get pale yellow precipitate, now for that again in the extract you have to add dilute nitric acid to acidify this, and then silver nitrate solution into this. Now again you are getting the precipitate, but these precipitate, if you look closely, they are pale yellow in color, and their solubility in liquid ammonia is that they are partially soluble. Partially soluble means that you have to add excess of liquid ammonia to make it soluble. Just see, it is not soluble, but if you add excess of the liquid ammonia, it becomes soluble. Just see. So that means if we get pale yellow precipitate in silver nitrate test, which is soluble in excess of liquid ammonia, then bromine is present in the compound. And the fourth observation is that if you get yellow color precipitate in the silver nitrate test. So I have taken the extract, acidify it with dilute nitric acid, and then add silver nitrate solution into this. Just see. Now this precipitate, yellow precipitate, and these precipitate are insoluble in liquid ammonia. That means whatever amount of ammonia you add, they won't be soluble. And this observation is for iodine. Now, if nitrogen and sulfur are present, either of them are present or one of them, both of them are present, then we have to perform this silver nitrate test differently. In that case, what we will do is that we will take the china dish. In the china dish, we will take the extract, and then we will add concentrated nitric acid into it. One ml of sodium extract, 2-3 ml of concentrated nitric acid, and we will boil the contents. Now boiling the contents, we have to reduce the volume to half, and when it gets reduced to half, then we have to perform the silver nitrate test. That means in that case, we have to add, acidification is not required because we are boiling it in presence of concentrated nitric acid. So we have to add silver nitrate, and we have to observe what color precipitate we are getting. Either we are getting white or yellow or pale yellow. Now as you can see that the distinction of the color is very difficult, whether we are getting the white precipitate or pale yellow precipitate or yellow precipitate. For that, what we will do is that we will do the layer test. In the layer test, we will take the sodium extract of the compound whose extra element is to be determined, and then we will add the organic solvent. It can be chloroform, it can be carbon tetrachloride into it. Okay. And then we will add concentrated nitric acid into this. Now in place of concentrated nitric acid, we can use any oxidizing agent. Our aim is to oxidize the bromide ion and the iodide ion into their corresponding gas. Now here we require to do the shaking vigorously. Now after the shaking, you see that there is no color in the organic layer. It is colorless. It shows that extra element present, the halogen which is present, is neither the bromine nor the iodine, it is chlorine. Now I will take another extract and then add the organic layer into this. And now we will perform the test for the layer test by adding any oxidizing agent, which is here I am adding concentrated nitric acid into it. And now we will shake. Now we can see that yellow color is obtained in the organic layer. That means the organic compound contains bromine as an extra element. Okay. And now we will again take the sodium extract, acidify this with, first we will add organic solvent into it. Okay. And then we add concentrated nitric acid into it as an oxidizing agent. Yes. And now we will shake the test tube vigorously. Okay. So organic layer turns violet. It indicates the presence of iodine as an extra element.